about some difficult contractions now. When I give speech evaluations to my accent reduction students, these are the ones that many people pronounce incorrectly. Let's take a look at them. When we have the word have, which is an auxiliary verb in this case, could have been, could have done, could have seen, we almost always contract that when we're speaking. A lot of my students make a mistake and they just add the V and they say could've. It's not could've. We put a little sound in there and it sounds like this. Of, could've. It sounds like this. Think about dove, which is a bird, the bird dove, and say could've, 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 could've. Let's practice that. I could have told you. Should have. Let's do that. The same thing. We're going to say dove or of. Should have. You should have known. Would have. Don't say would've. It's would have. Let's practice that. You should have told me. I could have helped you. He would have loved it. Let's look at what happens when we have the word not in there. It gets even more difficult. When we have not, we don't say could not have. Look at this. We pronounce the D and then we connect the D next to the N, and then the O disappears, but the T also disappears. Watch this. We say couldn't, and then we add this element. We do it like this. Couldn't have. Couldn't have. Don't pronounce the O. Don't pronounce the T. This one is hard, isn't it? Let's practice it again. Couldn't have. Couldn't have. Okay, should not have becomes shouldn't have. Would not have becomes wouldn't have. Let's practice some sentences. He couldn't have done it. One more time. He couldn't have done it. She shouldn't have told you. She shouldn't have told you. One more. They wouldn't have known. They wouldn't have known. Let's look at one final point. When this is a question, would you have, we basically do this also. We say, would you have? 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 Should you have? Should you have? Strange, isn't it? That's how people speak. Let's practice some sentences. How would she have known? How would she have known? What would you have done? What would you have done? Now let's practice the sentences for all three examples. You should have seen it. You should have seen it. You would have liked it. You would have liked it. I shouldn't have said that to him. I shouldn't have said that to him. I wouldn't have called you if I'd known you were sleeping. I wouldn't have called you if I'd known you were sleeping. You wouldn't have been tired if you'd gone to bed earlier. You wouldn't have been tired if you'd gone to bed earlier. What would you have said to her? What would you have said to her? Okay. Remember, could have, couldn't have, would you have?